Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yo. Yo, you guys ready for this? Rhetorical question, there's no fucking way.
And welcome back to the channel, everyone. Yeah, nobody's ready for this one. Hopefully my mic's sounding good. I'm still a little bit under the weather here. I just wanted to talk about this whole Jack Mallers situation, especially strike. There's a lot to unpack here. This was actually from his 2021 Bitcoin conference, where he was talking about El Salvador. And there was a lot of things that came out of this that a lot of people aren't aware of, or they really just didn't pay attention to. They just really wanted that flash in the pan type deal. Now, this video back in 2021, a whole lot different than his most recent one in 2022, at least the way it was presented. And you can see here he's very emotional, tries to make it seem like this is some big innovation that Strike has been behind Bitcoin, everything that he did to get this all off the ground.
The first Bitcoin country and the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender and treat it as a world currency and have a Bitcoin on their reserves.
And he's right there. I mean, this is one time that today that I'll show that he is absolutely factually correct with this. And you see BitPay there, that's going to come up a little bit later, but let's get back into it. Yeah, that's pretty quick. I just wanted to also note here that this opening the innovation headquarters in El Salvador, this video came out June 5th, 2021. Still hasn't been opened. Can't find anything on the internet about it. But let's hear what he has to say about it.
Strike is going to be opening an innovation headquarters in El Salvador. Blockstream is involved, which we'll learn about later. And a lot of companies in the space are going to come because a country that supports and fosters innovation is a company that this community is going to stand behind. I
agree there too. Again, we've seen in my previous video where El Salvador hosted a bunch of countries from Latin America and parts of Africa, especially central banks, when it came to the idea of using Bitcoin as a digital currency so that way they can fight inflation. I saw a fact recently that a lot of people in Argentina are fighting inflation just by buying USDC because their fiat currency's hitting like a 76% inflation rate.
Future I want, and the government wants innovation. They want us to improve Bitcoin, and I don't have to go get a fucking bit license.
And here's where it gets good. So, speaking about they don't need a bit license, well, you actually kind of do, especially in El Salvador. As you can see here, Decrypt covered this about 3 weeks after that video came out. Strike was only licensed in one state, despite being active across the United States and El Salvador. They talk about Chicago-based Zap Solutions, because that is actually the company behind the digital wallet Strike. And it's already being used by Salvadorans in Coastal Town, the crypto community, which they dub Bitcoin Beach. Strike's more person-to-person, not really consumer to business. And you can see here the investigation by Decrypt discovered that Zap lacks licenses to operate in most U.S. states. Again, this is potentially illegal. And that Strike CEO Jack Mallers and others at the company did not respond to repeated requests for comment. Again, it talks about Mallers, a new face, promises of Bitcoin. He makes a lot of promises that we'll see. And of course, Mallers' own refusal to provide details about Strike's legal compliance. And this brings up the lack of financial transparency. But let's look at the legal compliance side real quick. A good place to start off is the NMLS Consumer Access site. Again, this is for Zap Solutions. You can see clearly there's definitely the street address, mailing address, everything you need to know. And they have gotten a lot more licenses since that Decrypt article came out. I think they realized the problem and went for it, started getting them. As you can see, there was Washington, their first one back in April 21st of 2020. And El Salvador actually has something similar when it comes to who can provide stuff for Bitcoin. As you can see here, there's definitely the Chivo wallet. Scroll down a little further and you can see what I talk about a lot. Flex and Network. They are a payment processor, all types of shops and public in general. And you can look all the way through here and you will see nothing about either Strike or Zap. The only other interesting thing that I found in here is Koi Banks here. They're actually involved with Algorand. As you can see on the side, it is for financial sector, banks, finance companies, insurance companies, and the government sector, which that's what a lot of Algorand does. They do things with governments. They're more of a infrastructure and melding of blockchain technology. One of these days I'm going to cover Algorand, but there's just a lot to cover. And before we leave this video, there's just one more thing that I wanted to note here.
I'm also going to be open sourcing all the work I did, and it's going to be called Bitcoin for Countries, and any country that needs help, download it from the fucking internet.
So it's been a year. The Bitcoin for Countries, can't find it anywhere on the internet. Definitely not open source. Can't download it anywhere. So I'd like to know what exactly he did and how it can be open source. You'll notice that in the next video too, we'll cover this, that a lot of the stuff he puts out there just doesn't happen, or you just can't find it anywhere. It's not available for the public. And let's go to that other video, and we'll start off with that very important part. Now, this video is legendary. I say that because of the way Jack acts. It's a totally different tone, and you'll hear it later. But we need to start off with this right here, the NCR partnership. And if you notice, there is a very large disclosure, and even if you go to full screen, you can't really make out. I mean, you kind of have to squint to see it, but for this purpose of this video, I went ahead and actually highlighted the important parts and zoomed in, thanks to lovely, lovely MS Paint. And we can see here that these are forward-looking statements. And what forward-looking statements are things like we will, we plan on, we intend, we anticipate, and things along that nature. You know, it's not exactly set in stone, but this is kind of the roadmap that they're planning. And as you can see on the highlighted section, that statements that do not relate to historical or current fact are examples of forward-looking statements. Examples of forward-looking statements in these materials include, without limitation, statements regarding NCR's plans to work with Strike to bring Lightning payments to the in-store checkout experience and the expected impact thereof, aka this does not currently exist, and NCR might not even be involved, which is a very different tone than some of the articles, definitely some of the tweets, and even some of the statements that he made in this presentation. A good example of articles, right here, this is on NASDAQ.com. This is just sort of an aggregator, almost. You know, someone actually posted this to NASDAQ.com. You can see here it's from Bitcoin Magazine. They put a little disclaimer here at the bottom that Bitcoin 2022 is part of the Bitcoin event series hosted by BTC Inc., the parent company of Bitcoin Magazine. But the most important part is, at least to me, is you scroll up here, and it's not a forward-looking statement because of this simple word right here, has, as in past tense, that they have partnered with 3 of the world's largest payment providers, Shopify, NCR, and Blackhawk Network. Now, they say there's a Shopify integration. Shopify integrations do happen. That might be true. I didn't really get into that because I couldn't find anything from either NCR or Blackhawk Network to verify that this actually is happening, that they actually intend to partner with them. And if you go over here to payments.com, they actually use those statements. You know, they do say that Strike announced deals that will bring NCR point-of-sale terminals, Shopify, and prepaid payments provider Blackhawk Network, aka they're planning on, it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but it will happen. The devil is in the details with these words. But let's go to some of these more details because this video gets even more interesting very, very quickly.
And so, this year, have you guys ever shopped at any of these? Any of these? Yeah. McDonald's, Walmart, Macy's, Best Buy. I mean, no, this is not in another country. This is not a test pilot somewhere. No, this is in the United States of America. You're going to be able to walk in to a grocery store, to Whole Foods, to Chipotle. You want to use a Lightning node over Tor? You do that. You want to use the Cash App? You do that.
As far as I know, none of these companies actually do take Strike. And he does show an example that's very infamous that we're coming up on. These, I don't get this. You know, you're stating that they're going to come, everything, but there's been no work, no progress. And he's saying it's going to happen this year. You know, this is 2 months after this event currently. This was in April 7th of 2022, and I'm filming it on 6/24. So almost 3 months, but again, we haven't seen any of these companies actually state anything about Strike.
Watch this. Yo, We're in sunny Chicago. We're gonna walk into a grocery store and buy some Coke over Tor. A card network is not gonna process this transaction. Bitcoin's open monetary network is gonna process this transaction. Let's go!
But before we go, I actually found this place. If you notice, when you go back, you can actually see that there is a phone number that scrolls across. That's how I was actually able to find this place, is I actually Googled the phone number. And as you can see, this looks very much like it. I mean, same phone number, same everything. That's the Galleria Market. And they actually do have a checkout, and they do have the Bitcoin logo over here in the payments, the right-hand side. If you look at the Bitcoin thing, you know, you put your mouse over it real quick, you'll see that it accepts Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ripple, and USD coins. But let's see how Jack thinks it works, or at least is promoting it.
Hello.
Hey.
Can I check out each of these separately? Sure. I'll do the Coke first. Let's buy some Coke over Tor, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. Open payment standard. This grocery store is showing an open payment standard to receive dollars in their cash register. I could use any Lightning wallet I want. I'm gonna go with Zap, which is connected to my Lightning node running over Tor at my house. So I simply hit send, scan the QR code, confirm by entering my PIN, and Bitcoin is leaving my node over Tor as dollars enter her cash register. Boom. I'll go with...
See, I didn't really see anything with that transaction, but notice this with the peanuts. For some reason, she actually doesn't scan it, yet it shows up on the terminal here. I don't get this. She scans everything else. Maybe she forgot, but we're going to see more about why this looks a little bit funky.
The peanuts next. Shout out peanuts, if you know, you know. And I will go with the one and only Cash App. 70 million Americans can do this. I'm simply going to scan the QR code again, enter my PIN, and confirm the Lightning payment. Money is leaving Cash App over an open payment standard and entering dollars in her cash register. Can I...
And yes, you can definitely send Lightning Network payments over Cash App. It's more peer-to-peer like Cash App. It's not meant for retail payments. But people in El Salvador, especially Bitcoin Beach, they are using it as sort of something similar. They're very small shops, you know, definitely independent sole proprietorships. I could see that, you know, that case I could see it being used sort of as a business transaction. But for this next part, we're going to have to actually slow it down a little bit when we get to that part. So let's go ahead and start.
Use pay with QR code for that Bud Light? Thank you. We've also integrated...
Just real quick, remember, that's a scan. Peanuts weren't scanned. Let's see what he did when it comes to actually programming here real quick.
For point-of-sale systems that are not interoperable, an ability to pay with a QR code. So I'm going to present my QR code. Awesome, thank you.
Alright, he states that he actually has this set up to where it's programmed to open up side that he needs. I believe it's MoonPay. But let's go back real quick and change our playback speed, because I want you to notice his fingers real quick. Let's go to a quarter speed.
Program to open my moon.
Did you notice his thumb there? It's not programmed to do anything. He's actually swapping between programs.
Wallet?
Yep, he totally just opened up a different app. It's not programmed. I don't know why he had to say that. I think it's just to make it seem a little bit easier than what it is.
Confirm my PIN. I have the payment pulled up right here. I'm going to send. Should be good?
Yeah.
Good to go?
Yes, we're good to go.
So yes, the crowd went wild over this, but there were definitely some things that happened after this. And let's take a look and see the reports that came out when this actually happened. As you can see, CryptoSlate actually went and tried to figure this out, because it turns out the entire thing was staged. Galleria Market, again that same place that I showed, they actually planned on adding Bitcoin, but the entire thing was staged at the time. I do remember this tweet from Whalepool Calls that showed that they went and tried to use this, other people did. It didn't accept Bitcoin at the time, and that's where they found out it was staged. So that's another weird thing, like, and they bring up the disclaimer here too, the one that I just showed you, because there's a lot of things here that didn't make sense, that don't make sense, that just don't happen right now. However, Galleria Markets does take Bitcoin now, and I will show you live, well, as live as a recording can be, of how this happens. So you can actually go to Galleria Market and you can actually check out. I went ahead and put out carry out. I'm definitely not going to buy anything here. This is just for educational purposes and to show you. But you can see here, there's the address, there's the phone number. There's no need to contact them. But let's go ahead. You know what? I want to get a breakfast sandwich tomorrow. So let's say that I do go ahead and order my egg sandwich. We're definitely going to do some wheat toast, some American cheese. Ooh, definitely a fried egg. And no real special things. I'm good on that. Let's just go ahead and add it to cart. And you know what? I want bacon too. Who doesn't like bacon? Well, a lot of people, but I like it. So let's say I want to go ahead and check out. So we can see here, hey, there's cryptocurrency. And, I just put in a bunch of fake contact info. Yeah, we'll give them a huge tip. Why not? And we need to save the planet, no cutlery. So we'll select our crypto. And we'll go ahead and hit continue. And let's see what happens. Huh. BitPay. Yeah, Wallet Connect, BitPay, pay with Coinbase, BRD Wallet. Let's pay with MetaMask if we want to. Brave Browser, Opera Browser, blah, 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 blah. But you keep on going down. There's Gemini. Keep going down, 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 down. Hey, Zap Wallet. There we go. That's Strike, I guess, because I don't see a Strike on here. So it must... Oh, wait, there is Strike. So I guess we have both Zap and Strike. So let's go ahead and... Yeah, right there you go. You can go ahead and pay with Bitcoin if you want. And you could keep on going through here. I don't know if it works. This is kind of where I stopped. But I just wanted to show you that it's not just Strike there. This place is actually taking a lot of different payments through their web app. So kudos to Galleria Market to actually innovating, trying out this Bitcoin stuff, the crypto stuff. They might be interested in Flexo when that integration comes. We'll see. And a little bit about BitPay. We can see here that they do have integrations. Again, that's all like web stores, Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, and of course code libraries, but there's nothing about like a POS terminal. This is mainly for online stuff. They do offer the POS integrations. In a sense, it's through a prepaid debit card. But we can also see here that BitPay does offer some fees. I mean, it's going to happen with any business. They're 1% and plus. You can see there's a little disclaimer, the 1%, that higher fees applicable to high-risk industries. But yeah, I mean, if you want to learn more about BitPay, go for it. It seems like a good payment for online businesses or small merchants like Galleria Market. And you can even see here, it took me a little bit to find it, under how does the BitPay wallet app work. Again, you can see here that they do support many other wallets. You saw that list, and they list a few of them here, the major ones like MetaMask, Trezor, Ledger, Coinbase, Kraken, Trust Wallet, Bitcoin Core. I mean, it's a massive amount of wallets they support. It's not just Strike. And I think a lot of this has to do with just the idea of how Strike is operating. Their entire, I guess you would call it a business model. I really don't see how it's a business model. But let's go ahead and jump to almost the end, and we'll hear Jack talk about it.
I know, converting into dollars and stuff, just so that everyone in this room has the right to walk into a grocery store over Tor and go to Chipotle over Tor if they ever so feel like it. And so if you're a merchant, you want to be a part of this, you want to be part of this rollout with these big companies, you can go here. You can just let us know. 1 in 6 point-of-sale systems are by NCR.
Yet there is no NCR integration, especially not currently. And as you can see here, he's just saying, hey, if you're a merchant and you want to, go for it. I haven't seen any sort of business development side. I don't know of anyone in Zap or Strike outside of Jack Mahler's, especially that's trying to make these business integrations, that have any sort of payments experience in the industry that can make those connections. But it gets a little bit better or worse, depending on how you view it. So let's get to this very last part of this story.
Blackhawk was behind the Venmo and PayPal checkout at CVS. I mean, I'm dealing with big businesses, and we will have Lightning integrated in the coming months and Shopify's live now.
It's been a few months. Still no integration, but hey, takes time. So we'll see. Or maybe it'll be like that lovely Bitcoin for countries or the headquarters in El Salvador that doesn't exist right now.
And the last thing I'll say is I really want to close with this. This is like, I mean, it was my company. I'm very proud of my company. We made a big step forward and have some really cool partners now. But this was just a presentation about a story, man. This was a story of consortiums forming from financial services industries to form payment networks that have had such a strong grip and foothold, and there hasn't been anything superior that improves on cheaper, faster, more innovative, and more inclusive access.
Yeah, there definitely have been, but this, again, is what Jack Mallers believes, and again, he said it was a story, so it's not really the truth, but let's keep going. We've only got about a minute left.
No one's been able to allow for a superior payments network to be embedded into a Walmart or to a Chipotle, to a CVS, to a Whole Foods. And so this is our announcement. It's not my announcement. We did this. And so, yeah. And so I just want to say, don't keep going. For all the ones that said Lightning Network was vaporware, it's dumb, it has no users. No users, get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna walk into a Walmart and use it. No users, my ass.
Lightning Network does have users, but that's another story for another day. We'll just go ahead and end it here. I just wanted to say that, geez, Jack, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't get this. How are you on CNBC? How are you on CNN? You're always in sort of a room with a giant empty closet, and I don't know why they're letting you get away with this.
All the altcoins and the shitcoins, don't let it bother you. Keep going. We did this.